Alright guys, so this video is going to be called Discover Love. And the reason that's the name of this video is because I'm going to be launching a marketing campaign, and that's going to be my slogan to get people to my website, which is humandiscourse.com. So at the top of that website, I'm going to put a link. And I'm going to say, note, if you are here to discover love, click here. And it's going to take you directly to this video. And that way, it's not false advertising. And I can introduce you to love. So, what is love? Love, as I define it, and that's a thing, okay? Everyone defines words differently. I don't care how you define a word, but I do want to know how you define that word, so that we can be on the same page when we have a conversation. So, my personal definition of love, which will be applicable for this discussion, but doesn't have to be applicable for all discussions if you want to use a different definition, is going to be an action intended to benefit somebody else. Okay? That's the definition. So, that is a noun, and it's an action. So sometimes when people talk about love, they're talking about a feeling perhaps of compassion, or a feeling of desire, depending on the person and the context. But there is a feeling that does sometimes drive this action that I discussed, which is to benefit another person. Sure, you could love an animal, etc., but let's just talk about people right now. Keep it simple. So I'm taking an action to benefit another person. Actions require a motive. So a motive that frequently inspires or drives the action of love is compassion. So compassion is a desire. Again, I'm defining the word the way I want to define it. You can have a different definition, but for this discussion, let's go with my definition. So compassion is a desire for someone else to be benefited. So it's a feeling that makes me want them to be benefited, and sometimes that feeling is sufficient for me to then act based on that feeling alone, to their benefit. Now, using those definitions, love does not necessarily have to be motivated by compassion. It's possible that love could be motivated with money. So, this is going to be a good marketing campaign, man. I finally figured it out. Okay. So, where were we? Love could be inspired by money. So, for example, I want you to be the check-in person at my hotel. I'm going to pay you this salary, and in exchange for that, you're going to act in a way that's going to benefit my guests at the hotel. You're going to be charming, you're going to help them find what they need, get their check-in done, whatever your duties are, you're going to be in service to these people. You're going to act with love in a way that's to benefit them, and I'm going to pay you for doing that. So, cool. Because love, that action, the cool thing about that is it's something that's highly in demand. In fact, I am willing to wager that every human being on this planet desires love, in the sense that they desire other people to act in ways that will be beneficial towards them. So, the more ways we have available to us to receive that thing that we desire, which is love, the better. And the less government does to interfere with economic markets, the more ability people will have to serve each other in the ways that they demand to be served. The more love will be available on this planet, and the happier people will be, because they'll be getting what they want, which is love. Now, compassion is awesome. I'm happy that compassion exists. I am happy that sometimes people are motivated not by money, but by kindness to benefit others. I believe that every human has within their heart the ability to have compassion for another human being. I may disagree with psychologists on that point, but I'm okay with disagreeing with people who haven't explored my website and haven't read my book, because they don't understand me and the reasons that I believe what I believe. If you want to believe those things, or if you want to understand why I do, check those things out, man, and discover love. Because love, like I said, is an action intended to benefit others. My creation of my website was an action I took to benefit this planet. And I wrote my book for the same reason. I love this planet. By choice, not because I'm being compensated for being here. Once you understand love, there's a place for you in heaven. I believe that I have such a place reserved for me if and when I leave this earthly body. But I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave you guys behind. I want heaven to join us here in this reality. And in my book, I wrote a plan for how we can get there. It's not a comprehensive plan in the sense that I'm only one person and I am ignorant infinitely. But other people know things, and conversations can happen, and we can build a bridge to heaven. So, my book's subtitle is A Bridge to Collective Mind and Spirit. That title, that subtitle was, I came up with that years ago. I've since realized that certain things we'll never agree upon. But I do believe we can agree upon a path out of the darkness. And I do believe a great darkness is coming to this place. A great darkness came into my life once. I turned to a power greater than myself. I offered myself to that power. I humbled myself before that power. And I said, I do not have this. I do need help. I am powerless over alcohol. That is not everyone's experience with alcohol, but I do believe that will be a universal experience once this economic collapse happens. I've studied economics for many years, and I've learned many things. On my blog, you'll hear me talk about economic ideas as I understood them at that time, which I've probably evolved my understanding in many ways since I wrote that blog. On a list of things I have to do is revisiting that blog and updating it with current commentary and what I think about what I was saying back then. But if you're interested in learning the economic details of what's happening, I highly recommend that blog. If you want to understand the path forward, applying economic principles, which you don't have to understand coming in, I recommend my book. I will be producing a second edition at some point, which will be a little extra, but I would get a first edition while you can. And as of this recording, they're still available. So, I love you guys. If you saw this on a billboard, if you saw this on a car that was passing you by, someone invested their reputation to send you this message. And I hope I don't let that somebody down. I guess that's all I have to say for now. So, thank you for checking it out. And feel free to leave a comment. And don't forget to like my video and share it with your friends. Because who doesn't want to discover love?